would laugh because the guys in it are so young currently, but he's still significant. Somehow, Jay-Z has been able to maintain his youth because honestly, he's like in his 50s and he literally looks the same way he did in his 20s, which is 50. But it all works. It works out for him for some reason, and not even Nas. And Nas still looks young, and he can't maintain his youthful exuberance in hip hop because of when he came out and what the recognition is for him.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though. Is it because they're aging out, or is it because the listening ear, or the consumer's ear has changed with the way the music has changed? So, because sometimes I think, like, with where the music is now and the type of patterns and stuff that's like, I think it is it appealing for an older rapper such as Nas to try to, or do you still try to keep carving out your uniqueness when the listening ear has been now geared towards a new style, a new cadence, and it might be something you might not want to concede to. You know what I mean?
Well,
what do you think?
The problem is the industry cycles older rappers out. So what happens is, as the listening ear gets younger, what they hear are only the producers of the music within their generation. And they don't get an appreciation for the generation preceding it. So when you look back at what people would consider old school rappers or older rappers now, the ones that are able to stay relevant, they sample a lot of the older music that preceded them. And that's really how you get the ear of what you're hearing now. It comes from a lot of that P-Funkadelic, and there was a lot of respect paid from the old school rappers to, like I said, P-Funk disco, rock and roll even. I mean, we saw that started with Run DMC going on with was Aerosmith, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They did Walk This Way. So it was so you see people from the older school that paid homage because that's how music has always progressed. And with the newer ear, the industry cycles it out. And now the new ear can't pay homage because they have no idea what that is. Like, there are, like, the kids on my basketball team don't know half of the rappers that I listen to. And honestly, these are like guys that just came out maybe a few years, like they're not even that old. They still don't know who that is. And it's like, man, like they're familiar with J. Cole and the Baby, and Drake. They actually have some familiarity with Drake, but not necessarily a Rhapsody or some of the others that are. I mean, and these people are new and they're young within their own rights, but
it's once again it goes to the listening.
Yeah,
it's a different end, because when you look at Rhapsody style versus it's still, and just getting back to older rappers, man. We had leaked on this show one of the more popular underground old school rappers, the OCT. We had leaked some tracks from his Quarantine Chronicles album, and nobody wanted to jump on the OCT stuff just for that same reason. He's an older rapper. And for those of y'all that don't know the OCT, don't worry about it.
You know what?
Explain it later.
You know what? Yeah, we're going to skip past that. Right now, let's just go to a quick commercial break, man, so we got to pay some bills. So we got our ad reader, Bob Scootsy Day, is on deck. Bob, if you wouldn't mind, Bob, we need you to read some ads for us.
Thanks, Mac and Free. Names Are Not Important with Mac and Free are brought to you in part by Soul Glow. Just let it shine through. Soul Glow. And Cole Brown's Rhythm Spoons. Rhythm Spoons, where the soup is always free, but you gotta rent the spoon. Rhythm Spoons. And Jimmy's Pawn, Loan, and Taxes. Buy here, pay here, get your taxes done right here at Jimmy's. It's all good at Jimmy's. And Loomis Simmons Rent-A-Boo, when you need that boo to get one up on your homies or homegirls. Rent-A-Boo. Back to you, Mac and Free.
Thank you, Bob Scootsy Day. And we're going to move in. We want to give a good shout out to Soul Glow, Rhythm Spoons, Rent-A-Boo, and Jimmy's Pawn, Loan, and Tax Service. You know, the first sponsors of this season's Names Are Not Important with Mac and Free. We have, our rates are low right now. All 4 of those ads have generated us a grand gross total of 31 cents. So we getting there. We getting there. At some point, we gonna be where we need to be. But top 10 rappers, man. Go ahead and tear this list up.
Well, that's tough.
Let me do mine first, then.
Yeah, you might want to do yours because I like being a little.
Yeah, so
controversial.
Let me do
and plus, I have a different ear because I ain't listened to any new rap since probably about 2004. So go ahead, you got it.
All right, top 10
I'm still catching up with Shout It Low. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
All right, top 10 rappers of all time, man. This was an easier one for me. One, you gotta go. Hold on, start off. Is this rap period, or are we doing solo, or can we add groups?
No, rap period.
Okay,
rap period.
So rap period. Yeah. Top 10 rappers of all time. Rakim. You have to. This is in no particular order. You gotta have Rakim.
Oh yeah.
Run DMC has to make the list. LL Cool J has to make the list. Big Daddy Kane has to make the list. Queen Latifah has to make the list.
Oh, yeah.
They have to be there. And if you still don't think Queen Latifah got it, I will implore you to go and listen to Het Sheet Put by Rhapsody, which also makes my list of top 10 rappers of all time.
Hatshepsut.
Yeah. See, I always say it. I always say it.
Ancient Kemet, baby. Kemet, baby. To the east, my brother.
So with that being said, that also means that I'm adding Rhapsody to that list. She's in the top 10. Jay-Z's in the list. Big Pun's in the list. Tupac makes the list. Notorious B.I.G. makes the list. That's my
That's
top
your
10. That's my 10. And Rhapsody and Rhapsody made the. You know what? Let me take that. Let me scratch that, because if I do this, I'm more so pandering to what I was doing the other day and not being real. I have to take Pun off, and I can't take Pun. Nope, I have to take Pun off because of the longevity issue. He didn't have enough music, so I have to take Pun off for that reason alone.
So are we calculating impact, or because I'm going off for skill, who I like? I'm strictly on skill.
If we're going straight skill,
well, skill and impact, but I'm not throwing like longevity in there.
All right, so if we go skill and impact, then I will take off. I still take off Big Pun as much as I love him, and I throw in Kendrick Lamar. That's all skill and impact.
I feel you. All right. Well, I agree with probably 80%, 70% of your list. But
I probably need to reevaluate it because I just realized Nas ain't on that list, so that my list definitely needs to be reevaluated.
Well, there's somebody else you left off that list.
Who's that?
I'm shocked you did, but they made my list, and that would be none other than NC's own, your friend and mine, the rapper
again,
Phonte.
my list needs to be reevaluated.
Yeah, it does. It does. And you tried to come at me, but your list sucks. But on my list, of course, I got LL, Rock the Bells, LL Cool J, who lasted the span of time, who went through, as hip hop started transforming. LL still was relevant for a while. Now he's more into the acting. But Nas, Rakim, you got it. That was the first tape I ever bought.
Yeah.
Make them clap to this.
I don't care who you are, where you are, or what you've heard. Rakim always has to make your list. If you have a flawed list, if Rakim doesn't make the top 5 of whatever list you have in hip hop, Rakim has to be on it.
And for me, I feel that way about Big Daddy Kane. I feel like Big Daddy was ahead of his time. With his lyrics, his combinations, his skill, the way he would throw those little signature punchlines. But you gotta go MC Light. I think MC Light was a pioneer, especially for the ladies, because she could be hard, but yet still
my list needs to be reevaluated.
Yeah, but Latifah was a trendsetter, and I think Latifah took it to another level, like with the consciousness and the whole native tongue movement. I gotta put, this might be controversial, people might argue this, but I gotta put 3 Stack on there, man. I gotta put 3 Stack.
That's not controversial.
Well,
Again,
some might.
The list needs to be reevaluated. Three Stacks.
I got 3 Stack.
Yeah.
Because as you saw his evolution and how he just kept growing with it, and just, I mean, it was just amazing. Of course, Pac, the revolutionary. Pac gets you up out your seat. I said Phonte. I think Jigga, just for pioneer where he's come from and grown.
Yeah, that's undoubted at this point.
He's that. And then last but not least, this is a personal favorite. Many people will argue this, and I agree with it. But he's one of my personal favorites. Next to the ODB, who's one of my favorite rappers. But J. Rue the Damager, baby. I got to put J. Rue on that just for what he brought consciously to the game. And just, I don't think he gets a lot of credit due for just being dope, but bringing conscious rap to a certain level. And then when you mix in with him being with Premier, that first album, hey, J. Rue the Damager, baby.
That was the only controversial
hater. I mean,
that's definitely very, very, very controversial that you added J. Rue the Damager. There are people who grew up during the era of J. Rue the Damager that don't know who J. Rue the Damager is. That wasn't fair at all. Now there are some areas for which I will concede my list needs to be, because I left Nas off, and I left Phonte off, and I left 3 Stacks off, which are universally within the hip hop community considered to be aliens in terms of their skill level. All 3. And I left them off. I obviously need to reevaluate my list.
Now,
because
if we strictly go off skill, now, also Black Thought.
No, it's skill. Exactly. I was going with him too.
Yeah.
And I'm creeping to the space of where Black Thought may be the greatest rapper of all times. I'm headed in that direction.
Exactly. But I'm just looking at the combination of influence and everything in it. Yeah, but if we going off skill, this list gets chopped up a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I can't. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to find this the segment that McKee gave us, which is the top 25 rappers of North Carolina. It is a list I feel like we need to go through, but I can't find that list. So
and the next show too, we need to go through that list CBS put out with top 15 NBA players. I meant to say that in the last segment. We need to chop that up. I got major issues with that list.
You probably do. You probably got Bill Winnington at number 3. So,
Actually, he's number 4.
all right. So this is by Ranker, top 25 rappers in North Carolina.